In a Geneva courtroom, prosecutors revealed a ledger titled Pets, showing the Hinduja family spent more on their dog's grooming than paying one servant. A worker who earned £6 for 18-hour days while sleeping in a windowless basement. Inside, entries detail £15,000 monthly spa treatments for the family's Shih Tzu. Yet, outside the courtroom, this same family owns a £250 million mansion once belonging to the Queen, hosts parties with Jennifer Lopez, and flies guests to weddings on 208 chartered jets. This is the dizzying paradox of the Hindujas, a dynasty draped in gold but shadowed by exploitation. Their London headquarters, Carlton House Terrace, isn't just a home, it's a gilded labyrinth of excess. 4 Georgian townhouses, once the Crown Estate's nerve centre, were fused into a 60-room monument to audacity, its limestone facade scrubbed to a pearl sheen while retaining bulletproof windows installed during World War II. The Hindujas didn't just buy it from the Queen, they rewrote its DNA architects' gutted centuries-old ballrooms to install floors paved with pietra di fiume marble, quarried from a single Tuscan mountain and polished with diamond dust. Gold leaf, enough to coat the Statue of Liberty twice, wraps every ceiling rose and doorframe, while the grand staircase banisters were melted down from 18th-century French church chalices. The pièce de résistance, a subterranean ballroom dubbed the Mughal Hall, accessible via a private elevator lined with crocodile leather. Beneath 12 chandeliers, rescued from a Saudi prince's demolished palace, 300 guests dine on gold-rimmed Limoges china, their reflections warped in mirrors once owned by Marie Antoinette. But the true spectacle lies deeper still, a nuclear blast-proof vault guarded by biometric scanners and a 10-ton steel door. Inside, rubies the size of quail eggs sit beside uncut emeralds, smuggled out of Colombian mines in diplomatic pouches. Swiss prosecutors once seized a platinum necklace so dense it took 2 agents to lift, a piece commissioned to mimic the Koh-i-Noor diamond's curves, studded with 217 Burmese sapphires. Yet even this pales next to the residence's living treasures. The Hindujas employ a full-time perfumer to scent each room, jasmine for the library, oud for the cigar lounge, while a staff of 40, including a former Michelin-starred chef, tends to whims like midnight cravings for truffle-infused kulfi. The family's private museum, hidden behind a rotating bookcase, displays Mughal-era daggers with handles carved from extinct ivory and a first-edition Bhagavad Gita inked on gold leaf. Rumour claims they even own Churchill's lost cigar humidor, bought at auction for £2 million and stored in a climate-controlled case. But perhaps the ultimate flex. The Hindujas installed a replica of the Taj Mahal's marble latticework in the garden, not as decor, but to shade their rare white peacocks. Because why settle for a gazebo when you can outshine a wonder of the world? Yet palaces are mere appetizers in the Hinduja universe. For true spectacle, witness a Hinduja wedding, a symphony of excess where no detail is too absurd, no price too obscene. When Sanjay, the third-generation heir, married designer Anu Mahtani in 2015, the family didn't just host an event, they staged a coup against modesty. The crumbling 17th-century Rajasthan fort, chosen as the venue, was resurrected with 22-carat gold leaf smeared across its battlements and 10,000 orchids airlifted from Thailand to carpet its courtyards. For 3 days, the desert blazed with LED drones sketching the couple's faces in the sky, while Jennifer Lopez's £1 million private set included a custom Bollywood remix of On the Floor, backed by 50 dancers in Swarovski-encrusted lehengas. Guests arrived via a fleet of Rolls-Royces shipped from Dubai, only to be greeted by silk-draped elephants whose tusks were dipped in edible gold. Inside, Dom Perignon flowed from solid gold flutes shaped like lotus flowers, each engraved with the couple's initials by a Jaipur jeweler who later claimed he worked 18-hour days for a fraction of the flute's value. The feast? A battalion of chefs flown in from Paris and Mumbai whipped up truffle-stuffed samosas and biryani simmered in Domaine de la Romanée Conti wine, served on platinum platters by staff wearing Hermès saris, uniforms they were forced to return after the event. But the true madness lay in the details. The bride's £40 lehenga, woven with threads of pure gold and stitched by 300 artisans over 2 years, required its own climate-controlled room to prevent the jewels from tarnishing. The groom's turpin, a ceremonial sword, bore a hilt carved from a single emerald mined in Zambia's Kagum pits. Even the wedding invitations, sent in titanium cases lined with cashmere saffron, cost £5,000 apiece, more than the annual salary of the servants who hand-delivered them. And then there was the dog. The family's Shih Tzu, draped in a diamond collar designed by Chopard, became an overnight celebrity after paparazzi spotted it nibbling foie gras from a Fabergé egg. Rumour claims the collar's central stone, a flawless pink diamond, was smuggled out of Myanmar in a diplomat's briefcase. Yet, while the dog feasted, the staff fueling this fantasy ate stale roti in a makeshift kitchen, their paychecks later exposed in court as lower than the cost of a single firework. By the final night, when a hologram of the couple's ancestors blessed the marriage from a stage of floating roses, even the attending billionaires felt outclassed. As one guest whispered to Vogue, "It wasn't a wedding, it was a warning, a reminder that the Hindujas don't just play the game of kings, they rewrite the rules. But the Hindujas don't just entertain celebrities, they collect them." Tony Blair attended Diwali parties at their London mansion, where servants in Hermès uniforms served truffle-stuffed samosas. Princess Anne once admired their private collection of Mughal-era daggers, displayed alongside Picasso sketches in a climate-controlled gallery. King Charles, during a private tour of their Raffles Hotel suite, reportedly joked about the Hindujas' good relationships, a phrase patriarch Gopichand uses to describe their web of political ties. Those ties stretch from Downing Street to Dubai, where Prakash Hinduja hosts oligarchs on his 48-metre yacht, complete with a helipad and a crew trained to mix martinis at the slightest wave of a hand. Transportation for the Hindujas is a theatre of excess. Why board a commercial flight when you can lounge in a Gulfstream G650 with calfskin seats and a private chef? Their Monaco-based yacht, Noor, burns enough fuel in a week to power a small town, yet doubles as a floating palace for deals with Saudi oil magnates. Even their pets travel better than most CEOs. The pets ledger exposed in court included £80,000 for first-class dog flights and a full-time groomer flown from Mumbai to Geneva. But their most audacious move, chartering 208 planes, an armada larger than some airlines, to shuttle wedding guests from Mumbai to Udaipur, each aircraft stocked with champagne and rose-petal confetti. Beneath the glitter, though, cracks emerge. The family once vowed, "Everything belongs to everyone," but that unity shattered when Patriarch Srichan developed dementia. His daughters, locked in a £14 billion feud with uncles, alleged in court that relatives froze their access to funds, forcing them to sell his Rolex collection to pay medical bills. Lawyers likened the drama to War and Peace, complete with tearful courtroom renditions of Bollywood ballads. Meanwhile, the Bofors scandal, a 1980s arms deal involving Swiss bribes and a Gandhi assassination cover-up, still haunts them. Acquitted but never absolved, the brothers' mantra of good contacts now feels less like a strategy and more like a survival tactic. As the third generation takes the reins, they're racing to rebrand. Sanjay Hinduja, now Gulf Oil's chairman, launched a line of electric vehicle fluids, while cousin Shom pumps millions into solar farms. They've donated wings to Mumbai hospitals and funded scholarships, plastering the Hinduja name across bronze plaques. But critics smirk. This is the same family whose Geneva staff lived on stale roti, while the yacht's monthly fuel bill could feed a village. Even their philanthropy feels ironic. Their Mumbai medical centre charges £800 per night for suites, more than their exploited servants earn in a year. The Hindujas remain a riddle swaddled in silk. They throw parties where champagne flows from ice sculptures, yet fight in courts over pennies. They own a hotel suite so lavish it makes Buckingham Palace look quaint, yet they haggle over servants' wages. With Gopi Chand at 85, the dynasty's future hangs between a generation raised in palaces and a public hungry for accountability. Can solar farms and scholarships erase decades of scandal? Or will their legacy forever be whispered in courtrooms as much as ballrooms? One truth endures: where there's gold, there's glare, and no family casts a longer, darker shadow than the Hindujas.